Let's turn to the financial crisis. As you know, teaching us that the government considered some banks too big to fail. But what about the rest of them? The Congressional Oversight Panel issued a new report this morning. The chair of the panel is Elizabeth Warren, joining me now from Capitol Hill. Elizabeth, good to see you again as always. And this time we're talking about small banks. Actually, you and I have talked about the plight of small banks before, and you've said, they've been ignored in these TARP funds. Have you seen any change at all in Treasury, given your warnings that we're not paying enough attention to small banks?
Actually, this Congressional Oversight Panel report suggests that we have to sort of upgrade the level of the warning. In effect, the TARP funds that went into the financial banks did it under a one-size-fits-all plan, and it worked really well for the Wall Street banks, but it didn't work well for the rest of the banks in the system. The Wall Street banks have been able to repay. 76% of them have repaid. They're off making record profits and paying record bonuses. The smaller banks, only 10% have been able to repay so far, and 15% of them have now missed at least one dividend payment, suggesting that there's some real trouble.
And you expect that to grow, right? Do you have any numbers as to how many more may miss?
Well, let's just look at what the factors are. The commercial real estate problem for small banks is huge. Many of these banks carry large concentrations of commercial real estate, and that's going to be a real hit to their balance sheets. The overall economy obviously is a problem for them, and the fact that the cost of the TARP money will nearly double in a couple of years. It's a 5% dividend right now. It goes to a 9% dividend for those who don't manage to get themselves out of the program in an expeditious manner. So all of this is more pressure on the smaller financial institutions.
All right, Elizabeth, I want to just change tack a little bit because, this is obviously a very important topic, but something else that's really important and that plays into this is consumer protection. And, your name has, of course, been bandied about as possibly heading this consumer protection agency. Is this something that you're interested in? Would you accept such a posting?
I appreciate the invitation and the question, but right now,
I wish it was my invitation to give you, but
invitation to talk about it.
Right.
But right now, this thing still hasn't passed Congress, and so my focus, and I hope the focus of everyone on every side of this debate, is not on personalities. It's really on whether we're building the right structure with regulatory reform.
But do you think we are, though?
We've come so close.
I mean, but do you think we are? Are we doing enough for the public?
I think that the consumer agency is strong. It has a lot of teeth, and it has a lot of capacity to reshape the consumer credit market in a way that just works, becomes a real functioning market again, a market where consumers can see the products, they can say, oh, that's how much it costs and that's how much risk is associated with it,
right,
and make comparisons among products. Now, that means there's going to be some changing in the industry, because the old model of, let me pretend to charge you one price but hit you on all the fees on the back end is really going to have to go away. That's good.
Okay. Elizabeth Warren, thank you so much. Nice to see you again.